Hey everybody, Jeffrey here with Southern Kitchen. We're going to talk about cast iron. More importantly, how to restore cast iron. Maybe you were at a yard sale and you found a skillet that you liked and it looked like it's been neglected. Maybe it happened to rust, or maybe you were just napping on the job at home and didn't take care of it properly. Not here to judge, but we're here to help you restore it to its former glory. We have a Smithy cast iron skillet here, and as you can see, it's seen better days. So we're going to walk through just a couple of steps on how to return it to its glory days. First thing, this has a lot of rust in it, and we need to get this off. This is called profile rusting. A scouring pad, something that's going to have pretty heavy-duty abrasive to get this up. I like to start dry and see what I can get up, because another step is we're going to hit it with some warm soapy water. But first we need to get this down to bare cast iron, to bare metal, before we can continue to work with it. Just really put some good elbow grease into it. You can see it start to come away nicely. We're going to keep going, make sure we get all of this rust out of the pan. Okay, so I want you to take a look here. We've got this scrubbed down to bare metal. If you weren't doing this for a restorative process, your grandmother might chase after you with the nearest blunt object, but for our purposes, this is about where you need to be. It's smooth on the bottom, there's no signs of rust still left, but as you can see, it's still pretty dirty. So we need to hit this with some warm water and a pretty mild dish soap. You don't want anything too caustic or anything too much of a chemical strength to it. So just any basic hand dish soap will work just fine. Remove any of those nasty particles of rust that we saw earlier. Get those completely out of the pan. All right, now that our pan's been scrubbed, we're going to rinse it and dry it very thoroughly with paper towels. You can use a regular dish towel for this. I prefer paper towels just because I can feel when they've started to absorb the moisture, and then I can start with a new dry towel. A kitchen towel might not give you that benefit. Cast iron by nature is very porous, so we want to make sure that we get all inside and out, dry it thoroughly, because if there's any residual moisture, it can kind of start to bubble or boil over underneath once we're starting to set the oil. That'll cause your seasoning to chip. Now it's time that we reestablish our seasoning. When you're seasoning a pan, you're really creating a polymerization of oil by essentially burning it onto the pan. It melds together and it makes this almost plastic, kind of what will eventually become non-stick type of surface. Since we've scrubbed this down to bare metal, depending on the type of pan you have, you may need to do this multiple times. The Smithy cast iron is a wonderful pan, but it does need a little bit of love. So we're going to repeat this process several times after we've established the initial layering. So you want to find an oil with a very high smoking point, preferably a polyunsaturated fat. Canola oil works well. I've seen some that kind of advocate flaxseed oil. That's fine too. What you don't want to use is anything like bacon grease or lard, anything from an animal fat. That would be very bad here. So I'm just going to rub this on a paper towel because I don't want a huge layer to where it starts to pool, but we want to get all inside the surface of the pan, up the sides. We're also going to get the bottom, the outside, and the handle as well. Really just rub this in well. It's very important to make sure that your first layer goes on smooth and cooks on smoothly, because that's establishing basically your primer for going for your next layers of seasoning. Alright, so as you can see, our first layer is nicely oiled. I've got a baking sheet with some aluminum foil on it, so we're going to put this pan directly on the center rack of your oven, upside down, so anything can kind of drip off of it. It won't pool in the center, but we're going to have this just to catch any drippings that may happen and they don't hit the bottom of your oven. So we're going to put it in the first round, 350 degrees for about 1 hour. All right, so this is after 1 hour. We've taken this out of the oven. It's still not exactly where it needs to be. It looks better. Some of these skillets you're going to need to do 3, 4, even 5 times to reestablish that layer of seasoning. So we're going to let this cool, just out at room temperature, probably put it on the stovetop. Then we're going to re-oil it and bake it again for another hour. Just repeat the process until you have a good coating on the bottom of your pan that oil has bonded to it, almost like a layer of plastic. Then anytime once you're finished seasoning it, we're gonna rub it down with oil lightly and then put it away once it's been cooled. With the proper upkeep, the Smithy cast iron skillet should last you a long time. Thanks for watching. For more products and cooking tips, visit southernkitchen.com.